All right. Sorry about that. We're in the Acacia 9-hole cup. We're in Thursday's qualifying round. So the first qualifying round on hole number one. Hole number one. So there's lots of different ways. I'm doing a max overpower hook shot. And if I can grab a hold of my pin here. Maybe. Where is my pin? Why won't it let me grab it? Now it's disappeared from the screen. There we go. I'm doing a max overpower hook shot from this side, and I'm starting a half a ring off on the third cut. I'm using a Titan and an APOC. About 3 top spin. Maybe. Let's go play it. Let's just go play. APOC Titan, half a ring in the third cut, 3 top spin, maximum left-hand side spin. Here we go. Getting out on the course. Took a couple weeks off. It's my wife's birthday at the end of October, and my birthday's at the beginning of November, and we usually take a little bit of time off. And went to the coast and messed around and had a good time. Max, 3 top spin. Going to be about a half a ring out into the second cut. Take the wind out. Should be 3 1/3 rings. And I got almost all of it. I think I missed it just a little. It's not a bad direction. Anywhere you're out over there on the other side, I still have some work to get done, but that's a great result. If you go from the other side, it may be possible to get up there, but when this hole first came out, I went to the left, and there's a max overpower hook shot over there as well. Now, I don't think I had an extra mile 9 at the time, so I don't with the extra topspin, especially if you bring out a bigger ball where you can get down into this area. You might be able to, especially if you had an APOC 5 where you got that extra, or an APOC 6 where you get that extra topspin. You might be able to, with a bigger power ball, get up into this zone and without doing any hook, just do a max overpower curl shot and get it to come out into this area. But I think you're still going to be probably twice as far away as I am. Let's see where they're going to go. It saved them hitting down like that because that was excellent. That will work. Now you got a wedge from there, and I've been in that area several times, and it's not a bad shot, but this one's better. From that distance, wind is definitely going to play a factor. Isn't it perfect? And I'm going to be that short. Look at that. Look at that. What kind of crap was that? I don't know that I've had that happen very many times. I have had that happen before, but I probably couldn't count them on one hand how many times where it doesn't respond with the ball guide when you're that close. And I had the ball guide going through the cup at least to get half a square. Bummer. You got to pick that up in the that right there is a shot, if you can play the other par 4s and pick up the other ones, which are much easier in my opinion. Well, at least one of them. Arrgh. I should have been an eagle. All right. Starting off with the birdie. in the weekend round, that has got to be an eagle, or it's just not, you're just not going to be able to keep up. There's some of these shots, they're not gimmies, but like this shot right here, there's going to be enough people up at the top. They're going to pick this up that you've got to keep up with those Joneses. Where you can separate yourself is on some of these par 3s. The par 5s here are very makeable as well. I think one of them's pretty tough, but the other two are very makeable. I can never remember the holes. I can never remember them until I look at them. Hole number 2. Hole number 2. All right, yeah, this par 5 here is pretty difficult. Now, if you can get into the right spot down into this area down here, you're in, from up here, it's everything you can get with a wood. But if you're down in this area, or even if you're on this side, you can hit it with a sniper, or you're in your long iron range. Now you're talking about you can do some serious, now you can really go for Albie. So I'm going to take my number 1 bag and a Berserker. Let's see if we can have some fun. Let's see if we can get way down there. It's still a pretty low percentage Albie shot, but you can at least give yourself a super legitimate shot at Albie if you can make it over to the other side. See which way the wind's blowing. I wasn't paying attention. Of course it's a headwind. Why wouldn't it be? Well, there's no way in hell I can make it over. So I'm going to switch to a Titan. I'm going to switch to this bag right here. .58. Isn't it perfect? And we'll see if we can just lay it up out there. As long as I can make it over and don't end up in the rough right there. So now I'm totally screwed. That's why you got to come out and practice. You got to have backup shots. That bag right there, if I would have thought about it, like if the wind was blowing like that and I would have actually paid attention, I would have switched that up, because I usually take that shot with a rock. It's got more distance than my big topper, and you can also take it with an extra mile. That was the only bag that I had a bigger wood in. Now we're in big trouble, because this is not a hole you want to have to recover on. I mean, it's hard enough, like even if you put yourself in the right spot, it's hard enough to try and get an Albie. And so if you're not in the right spot, you're totally screwed on the eagle. See if my opponent can have a better result. Looks like a better result. Much more better. Yeah, and the closer you can get to the front, you don't have to get all the way to the front, but you do want to pick up a little distance to it. We'll see if I can miss the rough on the second bounce. Right there. I was hoping to get forward just a little bit more so I could get a little bit of roll down that hill. If you can catch that hill, you may pick up enough roll to get about halfway down it. Now you're talking about being in really good range. And you're almost pin high. A little short, so I'm still at the top of the hill, so I got a big adjustment going down to it. Curious to see where I'm at. I should be maybe mid-wedge. Aching towards max. See if my opponent can get it in. Isn't it perfect? El Perfecto. That wind is super brutal. All right, I'm in my Kingfisher. There's max. There's min. There's mid. So I'm in mid Kingfisher. So it's 6.3 times 1.3 equals divided by 1.511. I'll put one backspin on it. I'm going to make sure I'm through the cup. It's 5.2 rings. And 5.1. There's 5.1. Hitting it perfect. See if I got it right. See if I can save my round after that disappointing. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Recover. Drop that shot on hole number 1. And then turn around and drop the shot on hole number 2. What a bunch of crap. So that was and if I'm up there at the top, I usually do a 30% wind adjustment to the cup. So even though I don't find myself in my wedge in that spot very often, I did a 30% wind adjustment. Because you're obviously way in the hell uphill. In the hole. Eagle. All right. That might have been the shot of the round right there, just recovering. Can't drop any shots. I mean, number 1 was disappointing, but you can't drop any shots off the minimum score. I mean, that's just a given. Hole number 3. Let's see what hole number 3 is. Hole number 3. All right. Rough bump. And let me look. Do I have notes on this? 5% wind adjustment to the cup. And I was using a Power 1 low wind ball the last time I played this. 1.05 times whatever the wind is divided by 1. So let me make sure I've got, let's see what I have. I think I do have some Power 1 low wind balls. Seems like one of these balls down here is Power 1 low wind. All right. Or my other option is a Navigator. I'm not sure if a Navigator has enough side spin. I'm not sure that I need a lot of side spin, but let me see which way the wind's blowing. Let me make sure I have a bag that's got a... I'm going to switch this bag up just in case I get on that hole again. And the wind's blowing like that, I can take... might actually be better to take an extra mile. Any of these bags will work, as long as they got a sniper. Sniper. Let's see which way the wind's blowing. So the wind's blowing in such a way that we got to pull over the sand. So I'll probably end up using... I'm going to use one of the low wind balls if I can work the wind out and not engage the sand. But if I can't, if the wind's higher than maybe 3 miles per hour, I think there's only about 2.5 rings of separation down there, if there's even that much. There might only be 2. Big Dog is an awesome club in some situations, but this is not. I mean, if you got a Big Dog 7, you got a sniper something. Let's check our opponent out and see how much they've played. See if this is just them dinking around. Seeing if they can get it done with their big dog. All right. Which way's the wind blowing here? No, not going to be able to cut that wind down, even with a low wind ball. Okay, 5.25 rings. There's 4 and a quarter. Or 5 and a quarter, excuse me. See if it has enough speed to drop down the hill and roll out to the cup, or if the ball guy was lying. Nope, ball guy was not lying. That was all the topspin I had. So the only way I could have got there is I could have moved forward in that rough pad, but I was trying to stay away from that sand. That's going to be my backup shot. So if the wind's blowing in that direction where I have to engage the sand, I'm going to take that shot. And if the wind's not blowing so I have to engage the sand, I'm going to take the other rough bump, the one that's closer up. You have a much better shot with it. In the hole. Well, we can definitely get a hole-in-one on this hole, so we really want to work on this hole this week. I really liked it when we went to shootouts because we could practice the par 3s, and sometimes during tournaments I would not play. I'd forfeit the par 3s, but there was a lot of times where you're still working on a hole. You could catch it. All right, hole number 4. Not doing anything special. Just shooting the 12. All right, this hole right here is all about this little freaking rough patch right here at the end of your run. This is it. This is the only thing separating you from an eagle. It helps to have a bigger ball. I'm going to use a power 5 ball and an extra mile. Let's see which way the wind's blowing. Okay, that's not helping or hurting us. Extra mile. Take my number 1 bag. And a berserker. Now, the thing about this is I'm trying to set it up so I don't have to do any overpower. Now, if I had a headwind, I would have to do some overpower. So it's max topspin. A little curl. And it's all about the second bounce here. So, like, where you're at, you think, well, hell, I could just put a lot more curl on it. I could put more curl on it, but it'll clip the rough and it'll roll out. And you still got a great shot, but it's not on the other side. Great. Hey, damn it. Six, 9. There's 7. It's 3.5 rings. Puts me just a titch into power. Get 1 ring great on the inside to the left, which is bad. Not for the first bounce, but for that bounce right there. You can see how far it has to go in order to... The farther you hit it, the more you hit it to the left, the farther it's got to go on the second bounce to clear the rough. And you can clip that rough and roll out. And if you're lucky, you'll just roll out on the fairway. But what happens a lot, especially if you're way down at the end, is you'll roll out, get on the fairway, and then you'll roll into the rough. You still got a great shot from down there. See if my opponent can get it done with a katana. You can get it done with a lower power ball. if you want to do overpower. But what I'm trying to do is stabilize the shot and standardize it so that it's more repeatable, because this is a shot you absolutely have to get. The first par 4, you really have to get it in order to keep up with the Jones. But this hole right here, you have got to get. And the last one, you absolutely have to get. You got to pick up all 3 of these par 4s. I mean, that puts you at minus 15. That's the minus 30. And if you pick up anything else, now you're in the hunt. See if we can get this to drop. Since I missed the chip in on hole number 1 somehow. But I did recover on hole number 2, so I got that going for me. And I think I got a nickel in my pocket. See if my opponent can get in the hole. And from where they're at, wind's going to play very little factor. Get in the hole. Hit the pin. They were right on that distance where wind may not have been a factor, and I'm not sure I would have pulled it outside the cup. I would have left it like right on the inside of the cup. And they were right on the outside of the cup. All right, hole number 5. Hole number 5. All right, I'm going on the other side with a Grizzly and a 2 power ball. We'll see what the deal is. I used a turkey ball on this, but I'm going to start off with a katana just to save the, that bag will work. I'm in my Grizzly, and I'm doing plus 15% is where I'm going to start. We got due tailwind, so when it gets down to the cup, it'll be blowing off to the left just a little bit. It'll be pushing it past the cup, but it's a pretty good wind for us. Okay, there's my red line. So, I mean, if I had headwind, I'd have to use a 3 power ball. 4 backspin. So it's 5.7. It'll be 6.55 rings. There's 4. Hey, 6.55. Oh, I ran out of time. Arrgh. Now I gotta make it. What kind of round is this? What kind of guy shoots videos and does this kind of crap? Are you new? This is why I play rookie. Come on. Totally unprepared. What the deal is I need to turn my grid on with the wind high like this, so if we're having to move more than 1 ring set, I'm not brain dead. I'll just make the hole-in-one right here, and then we'll call it a day. I'll have to recover twice this round. I had to get a hole-in-one in order to recover. Here we go. 6.6, 7.59 rings. 4 backspin. Okay, it's 7.59 rings. There's 5. There's 6, 7, 5, 9. All right, you just need to hit it perfect and it'll go in the hole. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if I can recover. Ooh, just a bit outside. Overpulled it. Overpulled it just a titch. And I had it on that side of the cup. I was trying to, well, I think I had it on the right-hand side of the cup, and I was hoping that it would push it forward just a little bit, but it pushed it forward just a little bit too far. Arrgh. That'll be all right. That'll give me the opportunity in the weekend round to storm up, and everybody will think, wow, what a crappy round. Oh. Oh, my God. That is bad. Par. Bad. That is not what we were looking for. Out here dinking around. I was right though. It was about 4 backspin. It was just a titch more than 4 backspin. Need to make sure, and as soon as this hole is over, let's exit out. Let's go to my home screen. Let's pull up my test pattern. Let's go check out the next hole. Hole number 6. All right, I'm gonna lay it up out in this area right here and go at it. I'm trying to stay, I want to get as much distance out here. I would actually like to be on the left-hand side of the sand, but I don't want to be too far on the left-hand side of the sand. Unless I can get far enough forward, what I'm trying to do is I want to start in front of this. I don't want to be off to the side having to bring it around. Especially, one of the things is if you're over here on the side, anywhere in this area, trying to bring it back around to the cup, you're probably in an area where you have to put on topspin. And I can tell you right now, this hole is not a hole that you want to dink around with topspin. Because if you roll past the cup, you could be in serious trouble. Like you could go from like, wow, that was a great shot, I just barely missed, to wow, I'm in big trouble. So I want to try and hit in front of this so that I can go straight towards the cup and I can use a little bit of backspin to control it. So if I miss the cup, it still sticks right by the cup. So my goal is to try and get like more into this target zone here than you'll see a lot of people just laying up in front. Now you can get way out there into this range, and hey, if I can get my freaking pen to work. Come on. Yeah, you can get out into this range so that you can do a rough up coming in. But once again, you got to watch your topspin. Hole number 6. I'm just going to take my number 1 bag with a Kingmaker. Maybe, if I have any Kingmakers. Taking my Grizzly. The very first time I ever played this hole, I got an Albie on it with a Saturn. I think the first time I ever played Acacia Reserve, I Albied 2 of the par 5s the very first time I played them. And I think I Albied one of the par, or got a hole in one on one of the par 3s the first time I ever played it. I know this course has been in several tournaments. There's a couple tournaments that this course has been in that I didn't play in. But the first one that it was in, which was the Summer Major, I won that Summer Major, and then I think it was in the Safari Sunrise, and I won that tournament. And I know there was a couple other ones that it was in, but I really like this course. My results today are not indicative of how good I can play this course, but I do like this course. I like my opponent's position. I don't like the fact that they brought out a small ball. This is one of those deals where the big ball isn't necessarily vital on the drive, but it can really, really, really help you on the second shot. 2452. It's me about 3/4 of a ring in a power. Hitting it perfect. Let's see what kind of distance I can get out there. And where that puts me. So 387, 390-ish range. Right in my target zone. A little bit to the left of that sand trap, but parallel with, or in that same plane. And my opponent's got a wood. They're not much behind me with a power 0 ball, where they can get up there. I want to try and go at it with my long iron, so I have a much more accurate club. If I don't hit it out there quite far enough, I'm in minimum sniper. All right, here we go. All right, just bear with me. I'm going to do a 30% adjustment to the cup. So 6.8, 8.84 rings. Here's max. Excellent. Hey, don't give me that tail shit going past the cup. 8.84 rings. There's 5, 6, 7, 8 and a half. There's the 8.4. Ah, I had one ring great to the right, or left. Dag nabbit. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Here comes the tail. When it's like that, it will typically get caught up right here in the fringe, but it's super easy. If you come at it with any speed at all, like that was, it almost stopped at the top and then it started rolling down the hill. But if you come at it with any speed where it rolls past the cup, it will roll way down there. You're in trouble. And I'm sure lots of you have had that happen, and you're nodding your heads and going, yeah, that's exactly what happens. Trust. All right, let's not have happen what happened on the first one. In the hole. All right, that was not the Albie I was looking for, but I think if I'd hit it perfectly, I'd have been right on the other side of the cup. I would have missed it on the other side. Arrgh. Hit a lot of Albies on that hole, though. I like it. All right, this hole right here. I am taking a Grizzly and a 0 power ball. And the only 0 power ball that I have is a Marlin. I don't count basic balls. I gotta have some side spin. Come on. Come on. And I'm taking a Grizzly. And that's all I need. And I am doing, oh man, that was a massive, we got a headwind. And I'm doing a 60% wind adjustment. Let's make sure I got enough room. Okay, I got enough room. Maybe. .6 times 5.3. It's 8.5 rings. There's 5, 6, 7, 8 and a half. Getting it perfect. with that big a headwind, I'm curious to see how it responds. Get in the hole! Arr! I will tell you that I know when this hole first came out, everybody hated this hole. And we were all going at it from the right-hand side. A few people were going at it on the top of the hill, and everybody was just getting their asses kicked. But if you come over here, you can get up there and get your birdie and move on. You can backspin it on. But the second time we played this hole, I really was like, I think the number going around at the time was like 30% at the top of the hill, and 30% was not working for me at all. And so I was like, well, let's just double that and see what happens. And I like went on fire that week and got like 4 hole-in-ones out of 5 shots. I got 4 hole-in-ones, and I was like on fire on this hole. It's still a tough ass hole, and if you hit it great to the left or the right, it can be really bad. But there is a serious hole-in-one shot on this hole. And I know most people would think that there isn't, but there is. And I get the same thing, because there's some holes that, like, for me, this hole, if I ever get a hole-in-one on it, it's just luck. But there's people out there that are like, oh no, you do this on that hole and it works. I'll have to go back and watch the video on that, the way the wind was blowing, to see if I over-pulled it or under-pulled it, or like what the deal was on it. It may be one of those deals where I need to make sure I set it up on one side of the cup or the other, because it rolls out and it drops at the very end. All right, hole number 8. Hole number 8. All right, we got to make this par 4. We have to. And I'm taking an extra mile and a kingmaker. Let's make sure we got it, so I don't have to buy one while I'm out there. And if I need anything more other than my putter, other than those 2 things, I'm in trouble. It did not go as planned, because the whole plan here is to get on in 1, make your putt, get your eagle, high five, move on to the next hole. You absolutely, positively have to get an eagle on this one. The first one's tough. You can get to the right spot and get up there and give yourself a really good shot at it. But the second par 4 and this par 4, it's just absolutely mandatory. We have to get them. And we have to try not to drop any par 3s like I did. So I missed the chip in. I actually made it over on hole number 1. If you've watched up to this point, you know exactly what happened. Recovered, then dropped a shot. Picked one up, dropped a shot. It's one of those kind of rounds. One less than max topspin. Oh, hold on. Let's try not to slip off the screen. One less than max. Myself as much room as I can. It's 2.1 per ring, so that's about 2.5 rings. Need to hit it perfect. I'm going to hit it 1 ring great to the right. If I'm going to hit it 1 ring great one way or the other, right is the way to hit it. You may squeak by here, but don't get in the rough like my opponent. Ah! All right, we still got a great shot from here. We can still recover. And that was all because of that tailwind. I should have put a little teeny bit less topspin on it because of that tailwind, or I should have overpulled it just a little, like it did like a 10% overpull. One or the other. And I know better. I know that true tailspin is going to make it, or tongue's all tied up. I know that true tailwind is going to make the ball fly a little bit farther. And it's all about distance. Since I rolled all the way across the green. The one thing I like about my Nirvana is you can treat it very much like a rapier where you can run that topspin out. Hitting it perfect. In the hole. I set it up a little bit to the left. Partially I was hedging my bet, but I set it up a little bit to the left because it looked like as the ball rolled down the hill, it was going to naturally, just because of the slope, was going to naturally roll off to the right. So if wind would have played a factor, I covered it. If the slope played a factor, I covered it. If I hit it great to the left or the right, it might have gone in on the left. I was trying to hedge my bet. All right. Just a look at the ups and downs. Made 2 of the par 4s. Dropped 1. Didn't pick up hole number 1. Look at that crap. All right, hole number 9. Now we have a great Albie opportunity on hole number 9. Great Albie. And I'm taking 10% off, so it's 0.9 times whatever the wind is divided by 1. And I'm going to use an extra mile. Since we're in this round, I'm just going to use an extra mile and a Titan. It's just wind. And a sniper. That's all I need. Hole number 9. 13 should get me in. We'll hope. I think in the weekend round, you got to start your rounds with this particular course. I think you're going to have to start your rounds off by getting all the par 4s. So you're looking at a minus 15 just to be in contention. Like if you shoot a minus 15, you should be at least in contention. You may not win anything, but you're gonna have to put yourself up there where, like, if you'd have picked up one of those par 3s or picked up one of these par 5s and just picked up one more shot, it could be the difference between a win and 4th. But I think it's all going to start at 15. There's just way too many holes on this course that we can pick up. Nice distance. Nice shot. Nice shot. That will work, my friend. Oh, I'll have to see what the... Okay, 4-9. It's about 2.5 rings. 2-4-5. Hitting it perfect. Just trying to pop it out there so I can put myself in the range for my sniper to do a rough bump. .390. That's what I'm looking for. Let's see where they're at in their club. It seems like this is one of those holes too that you can, it runs up and it'll come up a little short of the cup. But if you run too far past the cup, if you run your ball guide too far past the cup, in order to get it to the cup, it'll actually break past the cup and you could be quite a ways away. And they're short shooting that shot. Anytime you add curl, it's not to say they can't make this, but they put that curl on there and then they ended up on that side. Anytime you use curl, it's just so difficult to replicate it. Even if you make it, you know, going back and trying to hit it again. Okay, there's Max, and there's Min. Here's mid, so I'm eking towards mid, so it's 1.1 per ring. .5 equals divided by 1.1, 5.31 rings. Okay, there's 3, 4, 5, and a third. Hitting it perfect. Get in the hole. Let's have some exciting shit happen at the end of the round here. Do we got enough distance? Heck no. And I overpulled it. It's hard to tell if I overpulled it because it didn't get all the way to the cup, like where it's going to end up. But from that right there, it looks like I overpulled it, and I took off 10%. And I didn't quite have enough distance, so I need to go a little bit more through the cup. In the hole. All right, minus 13 is nothing to write home about, but and dropping the one shot definitely is nothing to write home about, but it's better than a less than a minus 12, which isn't saying much. So regardless of where I really in the weekend round, you're going to have to shoot a minus 15 or better. And it's just like I said, I think that there's going to be like a minus 15 in some brackets could get you a win, and a minus 15 in some brackets could get you a top 10, but not a banner. So it's just going to depend on the bracket that you're in. But I think you're going to have to shoot better than a 15, and there's plenty of opportunities. I think all three of the par fours are makeable. I made 2 of them today without a lot of effort, and the first one I have no idea. Shit happens. So, getting the minus 15 is not too difficult, and there are a ton. I think these par 3s are all makeable. And at least 2 of the par 5s are makeable. The one par 5 is pretty difficult. So I will see you in the weekend round. Hopefully everybody has a great round, and good luck. And I'm going to shoot a practice round next for the Thanksgiving tournament. I may not do it until Saturday, because I usually like to focus on one tournament at a time, because you're practicing and you're trying to get your muscle memory on those holes, and now you're practicing and trying to get your muscle memory on a totally set of holes, but we'll see. So I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.